My real estate friends are gonna hate me for this video because I'm about to reveal all of their secrets so that you, the homeowner, can learn how to sell your home without using a real estate agent. So this whole video was inspired by some friends of mine that decided to sell their house without using me as their realtor or any real estate agent. Like, they were determined to do it on their own so that they could save money on the commission and basically bring home as much as possible. Totally understood that, wish them the best of luck, and told them, like, let me know how it goes. I'm interested. And so they put out a few signs, they put their home on a few websites, and they sat back and waited for the offers to roll in. Nothing happened, and it was really frustrated for them. And here they were stuck with this house that basically couldn't sell. So they gave me a call. And they said, hey, we still don't want to use a real estate agent. And I totally understood that. So I gave them a few insider tips on how to best set their home up for success. And lo and behold, a couple weeks later, they made some changes to the listing, revamped everything, and they had a couple of offers in hand. They were super happy and super grateful. So I'm gonna share that with you now. So just in case you don't want to use myself or another real estate agent, you're set up for success in order to sell your home without a realtor. First, I need you to be emotionally ready, because your property is not just a property, right? Like, it's a place where all of your memories live. And there are some things that are near and dear to your heart that don't necessarily translate the same way to a home buyer. So I need you to be emotionally ready to let it go so that we can start thinking practically about selling the home. So a good exercise is to now imagine that you've sold your home for the price that you want. How does that make you feel? What emotions does that bring about? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you ready to move on to your next adventure? Are you already in your next adventure and living the life that you want on your terms? Whatever that looks like for you, take that feeling and hold on to it, because it's gonna be important to have a North Star during this process, because it can get really stressful. Whatever it is, hold on to that feeling, because it's gonna be super important to stay positive and motivated throughout this process, because it really is a large undertaking. And I tell some of my sellers, this is now a job. You wake up and the goal is to sell your house. So getting emotionally prepared to do this is going to be the first step in getting it done. So of course, price fixes everything. And if your home compels, then it sells. Well, how do you get a compelling price? You price it slightly below market value. I know it sounds a little counterintuitive, but if you price it slightly below market value, then you will create a frenzy of buyers and get multiple offers. And once you have multiple offers, then people start doing things like cutting out contingencies or cutting out the incentives that they may request and adding to the sales price at the end of the day. So I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if the house compels, it sells. And here in our local market, Killeen, Fort Hood, it is all about affordability, and price will fix all of your problems. If you don't go any further in this video, if you just stop here and you use this strategy, your house will sell a whole lot faster, and it'll reduce your holding cost from just having that thing sitting on the market for 90 days. So you want to price slightly below market value. So how do you find market value? Well, we're going to use our favorite tool, Zillow. Go in, look at homes that are similar in size to your home, usually about 200 square feet up and down, similar in age to your home. Go look at those homes and see what they're priced at. Also, look up your home. Get that good old Zestimate. Now, a Zestimate is not exactly what you want to go off of, because through my experience, it gets close, but it's really 15% up or down, and you really don't know which way it's leaning until you look at the other houses around yours. Then we're going to look at 3 homes around yours and then compare their prices. Now, it's important that you now wait for those homes to go under contract, because somebody can have their home on the market at a price that sounds amazing, but it might sit for 90 to 100 days. What you're looking for is for the homes that go off the market the fastest, because those homes are the ones that are priced to compel. Once you find one or two homes that is similar to yours, that have you've seen them come on the market and you've watched them go off the market, and you kind of have an idea of how many days that took, we're looking for it to go within 7 to 14 days. That is going to be your real comparable house. That's going to be your market value. That's going to be the one that you're going to want to price your home similar to. Now that you have your market value, I want you to price it slightly below that, usually just 5 or 10%. It doesn't have to be a huge difference, but what you want is for someone to see your house listed and the house of somebody else, your competition right around the corner, and easily be able to choose yours based on price. Another good way to get your market value is to talk to the neighbors, but typically they're not going to be too forthcoming about what they actually paid for their house or what they're planning on listing it for, because at the end of the day, you end up being competition. So real estate professionals would use actual sold data, and sold data is better than under contract data because it has actually closed. And so it's like factual. This home sold for this price. Then we're able to know, okay, if 3 homes in the area sold for this price, then we know that your home will sell for this price. But not having that actual data, the best thing you can do is get homes that are still active and watch them go under contract. Next, presentation is everything. People buy their homes online. So you want to make sure that you are presenting the home online in its best possible light. So you don't necessarily need professional pictures for this, but it helps. If you have a nice high quality smartphone and you can kind of YouTube a couple ways to take some nice pictures, that'll be good. But the best way to do it is going to be to have professional photographers take pictures of the house. It'll make all the difference. Their experience in capturing homes will really make a huge difference. And that's something that you can just Google pretty easily. You want to present it in its best light online because that's where people shop, and then the job is to get them in the house. So you want the price to loop them in, then see the beautiful pictures, and from the beautiful pictures and the price, they are now compelled to come inside of your home. That's where you want to make sure it's also presented in its best light, and do like the common thing that you hear: deep clean, declutter, and depersonalize. Depersonalize because people can be finicky, and your personal life and preferences may throw them off for buying your house. And remember, we're thinking practical about this. And I know you don't want some a-hole to buy your house, but at the end of the day, the goal is to sell the house to whoever is going to offer you the price that you're seeking. Also, deep clean. Get a professional to come in there and scrub everything top to bottom. You may not live messy, but there are things that you're just blind to because it's your home. You're in there every day. So get a professional to come in, clean those baseboards, clean those doorknobs, clean those doors, because every time a potential home buyer spends more time in your house, they start to look at the things that are wrong. Like, they saw all the things that are right. So when they come to see it, they're actually in there looking for the things that are wrong. All right, so we did all the right things, right? We priced it appropriately so that we could create a frenzy. We got professional pictures, or we took really super high quality ones after we deep cleaned and depersonalized and decluttered, and we presented this house online the best it could possibly be. We did those things right, and so now we've got multiple offers in hand. Feels good, right? So now it's time to sift through those and see which one is actually most in your favor. Now, this is the most tricky part of the transaction because there are other things actually more important than the sales price. And if you're just focusing there, you could miss out on some other terms that are actually not in your favor. Now, these contracts are filled with a bunch of legalese, and this is, in my opinion, one of the top places where a real estate professional can add value. but still, you don't need an agent to do this. A good rule of thumb is to hire a real estate attorney, and it might be significantly cheaper than an agent, and then they can decipher those terms for you and let you know what is working best for you, what this clause means versus this clause. So for the purposes of this video, we'll just cover 3. That is the sales price, the closing costs, and the opt-out clauses, which means these are the way that the buyer can walk away from this contract. Now the sales price looks good, right? It's what you actually want, maybe even a little bit above. So the next place to focus is gonna be closing costs. Now closing costs are all of the costs associated with closing your house. They are the title and escrow fees. They are the title insurance, taxes, insurance for the actual property, and actual buyer cost for their representation. So you want to be clear on how much closing costs the buyer is actually asking for, because this will directly affect your bottom line. The other clauses you need to be looking for in the contract are the ones that allow the buyer to opt out. Here in Texas, one of the main ones is the option period. So that gives the buyer the unrestricted right to terminate the contract. You want to know where that's located. You want to know where their finance approval period is located. And then you want to know about how many days you have to get them the seller's disclosure, because they can also wiggle out for that. Now, there are 21 different ways that a buyer can pull out of a contract. These are just a few, but they are the most common. Now there's tons of other details in the contract that we just won't get into today, like title policy, seller's disclosure, who's the title company gonna be, deed restrictions, repairs, contingencies, home warranties, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on, and if we cover all of those, then you might as well just get your real estate license. So yes, it's totally possible to sell your home without using a real estate agent. I've seen lots of people do it and then decide to hire a real estate agent just because it takes so much work and they're not really up for having another job while they're working their job, and they just want to get the home sold at the best price possible and then go on to their next adventure. Totally get it. But if you do decide to do it on your own, it can be super rewarding and fulfilling, and you will feel really accomplished at the end of it, but it does take work. So treat it like a job. I hope this was useful. Stay positive, stay motivated, and don't be afraid to ask for help. All right, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.